Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Three Swords Productions. I'm Nathan. This is Steven. And we got a fun one today. We're back. We're back playing Kinnemon because I love playing Kinnemon. But
Yeah.
we got another deck that we don't quite see much as often as the channel. It's a bit strong. Some Zoro action.
Yeah. So Zoro, it's not a deck we feature on the channel very often, just because I think it is like a little bit overpowered, and I think there's like a lot of red videos out there already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was exciting to get that deck some spotlight, in our booth. So
Yeah.
exciting. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get started.
All right. Like I said, I'm on the Kinnemon side here, and we have Giancarlo in town. So we're playing some games with him still. Good to have him here, playing some Zoro with us. Playing spicy Zoro deck with the one of Little Ors, I believe he plays, which is the 7
wow.
Dawn 9K.
Is that in his hand, like opening hand?
I don't know if it's in his opening hand,
Okay,
but it is a card that he plays in his deck. He likes playing that. So.
We are seeing Zoro, Curly Dan, Otama, and Jet Pistol, and I believe there's another card as well.
Jet Pistol's pretty good.
Radical Beam, looking hot right
Yep.
there. Okay, we're going to reveal 5 cards here and add Nami to hand.
Seems pretty good. Fix up the hand a
Like
little bit.
Okay, and looks like Kinnemon passed on turn 1. They are going second now. Kind of a lot of lines open, though. We could see this early Okiku here. We swing 5.
Yeah, I like an early attacker, too. You don't want to give too many cards to Zoro in the early game, but
like
you do need to get him down off of obviously the most amount of life he
Looks
has.
like he picked up a 3rd Zoro here.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to see Momonosuke come down as well as Okiku, partners in crime.
Yeah, the Kinnemon ability looking strong, letting us play both of those things out. And now he's in an awkward spot where, Okiku can run rampant on a board if he starts to really play like Nami's into other characters that can play for aggression. So he does have to consider options there. Now we know he has Jet Pistol in hand. Jet Pistol is obviously a great answer to it, but it is your entire turn. You lose tempo by doing that, I think, against the Kinnemon players.
Yeah, but I think I was wrong. I think it's not 3rd Zoro. I think it's actually 2 Zoros and a new gate.
Oh, sure.
I see 9 gate in hand as well. So yeah, either way, we are contemplating Jet Pistol on this Okiku here. And we are just going to see that come down. Zoro taking care of the Okiku. We know it's a card that's going to mess us up, so let's just get it off the table now. I think that's reasonable.
On the Kinnemon side, we did unlock our ability back again by having one character leave, so we're going to do a little bit of searching, see what our options might look like. Izo is obviously quite good. We already had one in hand, but Izo, with the Kinnemon ability, allows us to pay 2 Dawn to do that, tap down the Dawn, and then can allow us to do anything else with the rest of our turn. So Izo, obviously great.
So it's just a 2K to put into our hand,
Yeah.
Get our defenses up. We are going to take it for the tap ability, and Kinnemon is just going to come across the table with the Curly Dan, cleaning up Zoro's battlefield. They did take a turn off for the Jet Pistol, so establishing a body on your side to contest some of the cards that they might have later is pretty good. Now, will it line up against the 9 gate plus the defensive spells, the events that Giancarlo is holding in hand?
Tough to say. I like this play a lot because it puts out 2 things that Zoro wants to attack already. You have both of the searchers out on the battlefield. They don't want you accruing that value by adding more cards to your hand.
3 things, actually.
Sure.
Yep. 1, Doribani. 2, Momonosuke. 3, your face.
Yeah. But this now forces an awkward play of, if I do play something like a Zoro this turn, now it has to go towards one of these searchers, and it's especially revealed when I just put a killer into my hand, the 3-drop killer with the Doribani.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of lines there. You had the option between 5-drop law or killer, and I think you landed on the killer in order to pressure some rushers out of your opponent to kind of keep their board state under wraps.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty heads-up play, as your opponent is holding a lot of Zoros.
It's also just, I only play 1 killer in the deck right now. Just 1 3-drop killer. It's specifically for matchups like this. So I think taking it for that reason is good, and especially because if he now does do a Zoro play, I now can killer him back.
Well, it was a heads-up play then in that moment, because, hey, if I bottom this, I'm not going to see another one for the rest of the game, but I probably will see another 5-drop law. Yeah,
I have 4 of those in the deck, so I definitely have more options to finding those, especially if he doesn't play Zoro, then I can possibly have the ability to search with Bonnie again to go find one of those.
But we see 7K come across the table. This is at Doribani. Hey, that's a big swing on Doribani.
Yeah, I think you just said I don't have anything to do with the Dawn, which I think in most tournament aspects you would probably leave that Dawn open to maybe rep an event like a Red Hawk. But here we're just kind of playing some games out. And he decided to be a little funny with it.
Okay, he does know about your killer though, so swinging with the Zoro is a pretty big bait. So he's gonna have to be really confident in his ability to maneuver this game, having given that killer a free target here. And Kinnemon deciding how to best play into that, because that is going to eat a little bit of Dawn here. We're going to pay 2 for this Izo with the Kinnemon ability. Come across at the Nami, and once again we are clearing the table. That is, I think, 3 turns in a row, just clearing the board.
Clearing down. You don't want to give them the wide berth that Zoro likes to have, while still pressuring their life so that you can get cards out of their hand.
Well, pressuring their life is something that we've not really been able to do by playing these 3Ks, these 3K bodies on the table.
Definitely.
So while you are keeping their board clear, it is kind of a kill that pass to you, and just kind of waiting for them to play a big thing, which I think that's a little bit what Kinnemon wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're just building the board up slowly over time, adding cards to your hand with the searchers.
I am hoping to see us take him down to 3 life here soon, to try to maneuver into the late game, but we are going to see Zoro come down.
And I think just come across for 7 would be an okay answer. You can also just leave it all up. I think if you attack Kinnemon's life, they're taking it every single time here. Kinnemon likes taking a couple cards immediately, just because you have so many blockers, you can play well at low life.
Okay, 6 coming across at the Izo, takes it down.
Makes sense too.
His hand is looking a bit awkward though. Makino, Brooke, Gordon, Newgate, and Radical Beam. We don't have a lot of action on that side.
I think it's interesting he didn't just run out like something like the Gordon.
Yeah,
you can use it as another body to attack. Like, obviously, it's nice to be able to use it for its minus ability, but you can still use it on a turn that you attack with it.
Doing that against the Land of Wano deck, not the best choice, because you are, if you can't use it, you're going to lose it.
That is fair.
So I think that's really a big consideration through Yamato, through Izo, through Nikomamushi, through Okiku, through so many actions.
Yeah.
Even 5-drop Law here lets you pick the Izo up and put it back on the table. So playing the Gordon out is more Dawn efficient, but it's a huge liability as well. So I think that was a heads-up play to not put on the table.
Yeah. And then I started by equipping Dawn to both of my characters there. My opponent does play Red Hawks, possibly, so playing around the possibility of them triggering that off life is nice. If they were to find a jet pistol, then, is what it is, and you could kill a character, I guess, but I'm never going so high to get around jet pistol with these attacks.
Yeah, we see Makino.
Yeah, we do see that all happen, and then with my last 5 Dawn, we did find the Law, and we're going to take this Zoro out.
Okay.
Clear board again.
Did we see a jet pistol come off of life?
We might have. I don't exactly.
I don't think
he kind of flashed something there.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
If he did find a jet pistol off life, that'd be interesting. There's definitely a line of like, hey, I could use it on the killer, but you don't know that I have Law in hand, but you could maybe surmise it. So there's like some weird little head games you could possibly do there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we saw that though. So.
Okay. But yep, just coming in, playing the Newgate makes my attacks. I obviously can't go in for any kind of lethal here, and he's got a character on board that is bigger than I could deal with. So that's all cool. But
right, we can't go 5.
Can't
do go that. 5 at it.
Undo. Yeah, I think we
considering if we
it.
want to commit more Dawn to that attack.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that Dawn just works better on the leader. So
I have an Odin in hand. I want that to be the thing that pressures his turn.
I see. Okay.
Yep. So
the
2 Dawn was going somewhere.
Yep. Just figuring out where it goes exactly.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So we are going to see Odin come down, and this is really going to pressure your life. And now this is something that can only happen in the world where you pressured their life total and got them to 3 or less.
Yep.
If they were still at 4 or 5 life here, you would not be able to play the Odin and have it be a threatening character.
Yep. And he did.
And we're going to see Gordon and Jet Pistol here.
So he did find a Jet Pistol at some point, whether it was off life or there.
Well,
seems great.
Okiku's still going to come down. Now, we did have the option of Nikomamushi as well, the 3-cost blocker. I'm not sure if you still have that in your deck.
I don't have it in the deck, no.
Okay. Well, if some builds are playing it, then that is also an option here, which would get around the Newgate's ability, and you would have a blocker.
Sure.
Not sure that that's stronger than Okiku.
I think Okiku's probably just better. Yeah, I'm still at a high life total. I'm not super worried about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
The Law is also a blocker should I really need it to be.
A big thing, too, here, your opponent's already burned quite a few Zoros, just rushing. So you probably have the heads up that they don't have many more rushers.
Right. Yeah, it would be like the 2 Zoros, and if they play Luffy's, probably about 2 more of those I could probably reasonably expect.
Oh, And we drop
a little
Capone.
flash of the Beige,
Drop
but
Capone. Don't worry, I have a feeling that Capone's going to be on the table soon enough.
possibly.
No worries.
You don't want to play just that by itself because the Newgate obviously can just swing and pop that.
Well, it does, but it represents quite a bit of sinking resources into the Newgate that otherwise wouldn't need to be there because it's already a 10k or it's 11 already with your Zoro ability.
Yeah.
So you don't really need it to be 13, but in order to free kill the Capone, it needs to be 13k.
That is fair.
So I actually think it's not the worst if you're not doing anything else. So
yep.
We need to think about that as well.
I'm trying to establish now what my sequence of attacks might look like. I do have 3 attacks, and he's got a total of 2 life left, so it is not unreasonable that I could kill him here. It's probably unlikely, but it is a possibility if his hand doesn't counter well. I'm going to assume it counters well, and we're going to play the game a bit longer.
Well, we have 4 cards in hand right now, 1 Dawn open, probably representing Radical Beam somewhere.
Yeah.
And in 6 cards, I think he can get out of a single attack.
And just kind of establishing what it should look like for attacks here.
That's a 2k attack. I mean, that's a 2k counter getting out of that. So
yep.
his hand is going to counter pretty high, and it's just going to be about attacking evenly to get him out of those.
Yeah, and since I established, hey, I'm not going to be able to kill my opponent,
Double
we're just going to play towards the board, make sure my attacks next turn are going to be good. We got 2 cards out of his hand this turn, so it'll soften him up for next turn.
I mean, that is a lot of blockers on the table. He goes down to 2 cards in hand. Will they be enough? 3 in hand, sorry.
Yeah.
Curly Dan is going to look for a card.
Looks like Otama, probably.
We also have Gordon. Both are good options.
Yeah, the Gordon doesn't counter where the Otama does, so there's definitely...
It just depends on what the goal is this turn.
Yeah.
Do we want to Otama, the Okiku?
Sure. And then he
now
looks like he's got a Vista.
Come across with Newgate.
Oh, that works too. Yep, that's even better. Come in for
13.
13 total. Yeah, okay. This is dead, and you've got a life out of me.
Okiku off the table aggressively. All right, and Zoro comes across for 9 here.
Yep, and I was holding up Punk Gibson, so we'll do that with probably the Raizo. Won't commit the Raizo to the board, probably.
So rested.
Yep.
You should see that here. Comes down, and we have 2 life and 1 card in hand here. So there's 2 cards in hand. I'm unsure. I believe it's 2. I think
it's 2. I think it's a Radical Beam and Vista that we know about.
Yep, there we go. So we have a few attacks here.
Yeah, it's establishing now with 4 attacks, can I get through? Trying to portion out what those attacks should look like. With holding up the Dawn again, it seems quite likely that he has an event, and if he has an event, it's going to be very difficult for me to get through all these attacks. But we're just going to probably commit a couple Dawn, see what he does with that, see how he responds, and go from there.
Yeah, you just need to swing high enough to make sure you get over the Radical Beam to put him at 1 at least.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, you could just swing 5 like a bunch.
Yeah, I liked attacking 7 because he either takes this or he plays the Radical Beam to get out of it, and then it opens up potential lines before this. But
okay, we see Radical Beam come down. Now he is already holding 1, so
yeah,
we don't have the Dawn to play it. So we feel like we're going to die this turn. We're just going to use the event trigger.
Yeah, the event trigger gives you 1k for the rest of the turn. So
something I don't see very often because Radical Beam typically is more useful for the top side than the bottom, but on this turn in particular, that's looking pretty strong.
Yeah. It's something you start to see a bit more in set 3 that I can tell. A lot of decks that trigger a lot of things care about that stuff. Okay, and then I'm just establishing, hey, I'm going to attack this turn still with all my stuff, and if I am, I don't want to get Jet Pistoled out of life, so putting these up to 7Ks to play around that.
And we still have 2 attacks here, so 1 card in hand. We know it's Radical Beam. We need to swing higher than Radical Beam.
Yep, and there's the Radical Beam. I think this is fine. Because I was never able to get out with just the 2 attacks, I don't think.
Let's see. You needed that to be a 10k attack.
And then he doesn't use it there and takes his 1 life.
And then
the next life
one to be 11.
Which I wouldn't have enough Dawn for.
It's pretty close, but yeah, not quite.
But the play is okay because I do have yeah. So with no cards in hand, I'm able to just kill the Newgate and then play the Beige to the table that he knows about.
Yeah. With Capone gone, or sorry, with Newgate gone, Capone is free to take over the city.
Yeah.
Capone gang.
Yeah. Like a lot of games that Kinnemon plays, these last few life are just bleeding out or getting all the resources out of their hand.
Yeah.
As we play the blockers to the table and make it awkward.
And that is a 5k Otama swing.
I think you can swing Otama on the Okiku or on life. I don't think it really matters. I'm countering out of it either way.
It does not matter. This is a concession hard.
Yeah. And then just going for bigger attacks here. Yep, coming in for another 5k anywhere you like. And I'll have the ability to block and attack back with all of my characters in the following turn.
Yeah, the moment that Newgate broke, it kind of looked like game over for Zoro. And we are going to see the Okiku fall, but just before the Zoro falls.
And coming in for 8 there. I don't have enough to counter out, so yeah, we'll just block in the way.
We could have also taken that.
Yeah, we could have. It's definitely an option, but, you know. Yeah, especially with no Dawn up. I guess you probably could just take that.
Yeah, here's the stage of the game where you go 7k, 7k swing, 7k swing, 7k swing.
Yeah.
We got there.
So play around the jet pistol again, equip Dawn to both of them, and here we go. Just counting out, making sure I'm doing everything right. 1 card in hand. Here we go. 9k.
Take Nico Robin and a Brook in hand.
Yep.
And we're just going to go 9k again. See what you got.
Got them all.
Cannot counter out, and that is the end of the game. Let's go back. All right. So how did that one feel?
From the Kinnemon side, it felt great. We were able to clear his board so that he had nothing out for like 3 straight turns there. You can't really be happier when you're on the Kinnemon side than your Zoro just doesn't have characters on the board.
Yeah, it seemed like you just had enough to remove the board every turn.
Yeah.
And eventually he died.
Yeah, and the killer definitely was able to shine through this game too, being able to kill 2 different Zoros.
Yeah. It's also quite different too because in a game we saw earlier this week, he finished with the Zoros, and in this game he led with those, and it's just a difference of like what characters is he holding at the beginning of the game, and what pressure is he under. So it looks like you were able to not quite pressure him enough, but make him feel like he just had to get his attacks in with the Zoros.
Yeah.
And that changed the texture of the game quite a bit. So.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, if you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Good night.